Hello folks, and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. Tonight we got another list for you. Tonight we're going through my favorite samples from 2022. Let's get into it. So if you are a part of this community, then you know that a lot of us send samples to each other. We do sample exchanges. Sometimes we just send samples just because. Either way, I got a ton of samples last year. Probably 100 plus. Don't know exactly how many, but it's a lot. So I tried to go through as many as I could to find my favorites from last year. And first off, regardless of whether your sample made this list or not, either way, I got a ton of great samples. So there's no way I could fit them all on this list. So thank you everyone in the community that sent samples. And by the community, of course, I mean WhiskeyTube. So many great folks out there. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. I love this community. So thank you. But now let's get into the list. My top 10 samples from last year. Let's start with number 10. And number 10 does not mean it was bad, just to be clear. This is very, very good whiskey still. I just had a lot of samples, so this is still one of the better things I had all of last year. So starting with Signatory Bunnahabhain 6-year Stayosha heavily peated single cask, 60.05% cask strength Scotch there. Thanks to the Whiskey Fancies. Thank you ladies so much. This was one of my favorite Scotches from last year. Phenomenal Scotch. For those of you that are not familiar with it, you should go out there and find yourself a bottle because it's great. Moving along to number 9, we got a American single malt. We got Andalusia Revenant Oak peated single malt that I got from my guy, Mr. Great Shot. This is a bottle and bond product, and it is also great. Surprisingly good for being only 50 ABV. A great, great bottle. If you can get your hands on the Andalusia stuff, really good, especially the peated one. Man, if you like peat and you like American single malts, you got to get this guy right here. And thank you again, Mr. Great Shot. Moving along, number 9, we got Woodford Batch Proof, 118.4 proof. Of course, Woodford always doing great stuff. Got this sample from my man, JAC, Jacob. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it very much. Very good stuff. Of course, Woodford always doing good stuff. And this is no exception. Of course, it made some folks' Whiskeys of the Year list. I can see why. It's very good. Thank you again. Moving along to number 7, we got Rare Character Rye finished in Amburana barrels. Thanks to the guys over at 21090. I tell you, those Amburana barrels, those things are something else. Got 2 of those samples last year. They had the Starlight Amburana finish, and then this, the Rare Character. And for me, the Rare Character was just a little bit better, and so that's the one that made the list. And also, thank you guys over at 21090 for sending the sample. Great stuff. Thank you so much. And folks, if you can get your hands on those Rare Character finished in Amburana barrels, they are crazy good. It's like... as Todd always says, it's like Cinnabon in a glass. Yeah, it's awesome. Now though, our number 6, Redwood Empire Haystack Needle 14-year single barrel, 54% ABV. Another one thanks to the Fancies. Ladies, you're awesome for sending this. I know it is hard to find, as the name suggests. But folks, if you can find yourself some of those Haystack Needles, they are great stuff. Redwood doing fantastic stuff there. And the Fancies, you guys are awesome. And believe it or not, that's not the last sample from the Fancies to make this list. So there is our bottom 5. Now let's clear the table and get into our top 5. So before we get into our top 5 though, I'm going to take a sip of our winner. Yeah. Man, is that good. And you know, folks, if you want to get samples from me, say you're not part of the community, maybe you're just a person that likes to watch us. You know the best way to do that? Join our Patreon. Our Patreon winners win samples every month. So there you go. If you want to get samples of some of the stuff around me here, that's how to do it. So, you know, click the link down in the description box there and join our Patreon. Now though, in 5th place, we have Old Rip Van Winkle, the 10, coming in at 107 proof. Got this from my boys, Charles and B, Fun with Whiskey. Great guys. Check them out if you're not familiar with them already. Thank you guys for this sample. Really good stuff. Some of my favorite Weeder bourbon right there in that sample. Really good. And, you know, of course, very allocated, very hard to find. But if you can find it at around MSRP, I'd go maybe 100 on it. It's a very good bottle for sure, no doubt about it. And thank you again, Charles. Next up, though, in 4th place, we got another sample from the Fancies. I tell you, they just sent me so many hitter bottles, or samples, I should say. So we got Balcones Rye American Oak Cast Strength, 63.7% ABV. And man, Balcones does a hell of a rye. I know everybody has various opinions on Texas stuff, but you gotta give Balcones a try. Some of my favorite stuff from last year was Balcones, and wow, just their rye is amazing, and so are the Fancies for sending the sample. Thank you again, ladies. And that's actually not the last time I'm gonna be saying that, so yeah. Next up though, we got in 3rd place, we have Garrison Brothers Balmore, 115 proof double oaked, coming from the fellows at the Bourbon Note. Ben and Greg there, thank you guys. You guys are awesome as well. Everybody's awesome. Thank you guys for the samples. And if you guys are not familiar with the Bourbon Note, check them out. They are amazing. Yeah, check them out. They're another great WhiskeyTube channel. If you're not familiar, they do great lives and great reviews and send great samples. Yeah, thanks again, guys. Now, though, our runner-up, 2nd place, my 2nd favorite sample from last year. We got Barrel Bourbon Company's Birthday Bourbon. Now this is last year's, not this year's, right? Because obviously it was the 2021 or whatever. Anyway, also coming from Charles and B over there, Fun with Whiskey guys. Again, you guys are great. Thank you so much for this sample. Really, really enjoyed it. What a bottle. I'm sure you guys enjoyed it very much. If there's any left, I imagine that you are savoring it, because heck of a pour. Thank you guys again. And again, check out Fun with Whiskey. They're doing fun reviews over there, as the name suggests, and they're awesome guys. But last, certainly not least, my favorite sample from last year, Whiskey Fancies, you know, they, what, 4 samples on this list? Hey, you know, it is what it is. Balcones Single Malt Hungarian Oak Cast Strength, yeah, American Single Malt, 64.2%. A hefty gal, for sure. Man, that Hungarian Oak finish, just my favorite of all the finishes I've had the Balcones Single Malt in. And it was already one of my favorite whiskeys anyway, so yeah. There it is. That's my #1 sample from last year. I'm going to be looking out for a bottle of Balcones Single Malt finished in Hungarian Oak. I know that. And thank you again, Fancies, and everyone that sends samples. You guys are the best. And folks, you know, even though maybe you don't have a sample of this, but you can certainly find these bottles. So go out and find them, because they're great. All of these are great. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. We appreciate that. Also, here's other reviews from us right here. And here is the subscribe button, so please do that. And until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.